Great evening, everyone. I am Dr. Nikisha Doctor, your communication catalyst, and I'm jumping on. I'm greeting you wherever you are in the world. It just may be a morning, an afternoon, or evening in your world, but it is evening where I am, and I want to just welcome you here to this particular video or platform, if you will, because I'm coming for, as I always do, I'm coming for the C-suite leaders. Yes, I am. I'm coming for you. If you're that C-suite leader in your workplace, in your business, I'm coming for you. And I'm just going to give people an opportunity to jump on and to even share it out. So if you're out there and you're available, I challenge you to grab a notepad and a pencil just to be able to jot down a few things that I'm going to share. And again, I'm going to give you the opportunity to jump on because I want to really ask you, I'm coming, this is real talk, real time. I've got to know for a fact whether or not you're listening in the workplace. So ask yourself, you've heard that commercial where and it's been some time ago with the commercial where the person stated, on the cell phone, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But the reality of it's almost like it's as though it's playing in your head, thinking about putting yourself in your team's, in their position, or your employees or your customers. They may simply ask that question to you as a leader in the company. Can you hear me now, or are you even listening to what I'm saying? And guess what? Even if you're a C-suite leader in your workplace and you may not necessarily own the company, so which may in turn means that you have a direct supervisor. And maybe you asked that same question to yourself, but not aloud. And you were referencing your supervisor, your direct supervisor. Can you hear me now? I need you to understand where we are in the workplace, what we're doing in our company. So again, I'm giving those an opportunity to jump on. I'm Dr. Nikisha Doctor, your communication catalyst. And guess what I do? I show up to show C-suite leaders how to shift their communication to the next level in their companies. I show you how to do it. It's not a thing of me putting my mouth on it without showing you. I'm one of those experts that show you how it's done. I put my money where my mouth is. Yes, I said it. I put my money where my mouth is. And it's really key that you grab hold of that, because I take this work very seriously. So much so that I'm making a point to jump on more regularly in front of social media, because I spend quite a bit of my time out in the field, if you will. As an educational consultant, I'm out. As a communication catalyst, I'm out in the field. I'm out in the companies, putting my hands in work. I get in the trenches with my clients. This is not something that I'm just coming to you to just share and I can't speak about it. I know that I know that I know what I'm talking about. And so you have, for those that may not necessarily know who I am and where I've surfaced up from, where I'm coming from, listen, I've been around, and no, I have not been hiding under a rock, but maybe you just have not met me quite yet. So I'm showing up on the social media platform for every C-suite leader out there. This is for those C-suite leaders that are experiencing that decrease in that performance productivity from your employees. This is for that C-suite leader that is wondering day after day after day where your customers are going, why they're visiting, they're frequenting other businesses surrounding you. This is for that C-suite leader that's been wondering, like, where in the ham sam are my employees going? Why do they keep going in and out of the company? Why is it that we hire them and they quit less than the probationary period? They quit sooner than the probationary period is even up. So in less than 90 days, they are leaving the company. So this is for that C-suite leader that are, you're experiencing certain pain points. Your team, your employees are frustrated. They're showing up to work angry and bitter. They're trying to figure out how to even come to you about certain things because they feel as though you're not approachable. They feel as though you never say a mumbling word, if you will, to the team. So this is for you. If you're that C-suite leader, and again, maybe you're the C-suite leader that feels as though it's all together and you don't have these problems, you don't have these issues, but all you have to do is look at the revenue, look at your customer evaluations, look at the turnover rate in your companies, and you will determine whether or not you're really an effective communicator. So I'm encouraging you to share it out with someone, invite someone to join you, to just sit and listen in, jump in, converse with me on this platform. And this is even for those that may catch the replay. I need you to grab hold of what I'm about to share with you. You've got to ask yourself, are you really listening to your team and your employees, your customers, your clients, those that you serve? They're asking that question, can you hear me now? And there's the song that says, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Let me say something to you. We really don't, you're thinking that the rain is gone. You're probably saying to yourself, singing it alone, I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. But guess what? Ask yourself, really, this is real talk. Is it really gone, or are you just not paying attention to the drops of rain? Are you pretending that you don't even see the flood about to take place? I mean, about to break the sky and come through your company? Let me give you this. What you got to know is that there are two things that I know for a matter of fact that will make or break a company and divide a household. And those two things are your finances and communication and the lack thereof. Let me give you that again. So jot it down wherever you are. Two things that will make or break a company or will divide a household. The number two of those things, finances and lack of effective communication. So if you've been watching the videos in the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about 4 keys to grading your communication as a C-suite leader. I've been giving you 4 keys. And so on this particular video, I'm going to share with you the 3rd key to grading your communication. To grading your communication. Let me share something with you. I'm going to share this story with you because I know without a shadow of a doubt, you can either connect in some way, you can resonate with what the story I'm going to share. There was a young lady. She was the eldest child. She was the oldest daughter in her home, and her mom, she had 2 daughters. These young ladies were 2 years apart. Now, as the eldest daughter, the young lady was always called upon by her mom to really help her around the house. Mom, as the oldest child, she typically would call on the oldest daughter to help her do different things around the home, or to pick this up for her, or go and grab this, or wherever she may need something done, whatever chore or task being done. Her mother would always just have her to come and take care of it for the most part. There were occasions where she would call on her younger sister as the younger sister got older, but for the most part, she would really call upon the oldest child, which was the oldest daughter. So one particular day, the mother asked her oldest daughter to go and grab the hairbrush and the comb from out of the room. Well, the oldest daughter, she went to the room, to her mom's bedroom where she told her to go to grab the hairbrush and comb. She came back in less than 2 minutes and she says, Mama, I can't find the comb and brush. I don't know where it is. So at that point, her mom began to get a little bit more specific. She said to her, go in my room and I want you to look in the bathroom and look below the cabinet and look in that basket and you'll find the comb and brush. Okay? So the oldest daughter takes off again for a second trip to go and find this comb and brush. Well, again, in less than 2 minutes, she comes back and she still does not have this comb and brush. So now this is the second trip back to her mom. She made the trip to her mom's bedroom in the bathroom to find it, but could not still locate it. So she came back to mom. This is now going on the 3rd time. And she says, Mama, I cannot find the comb and brush. So at this point, there's some frustration building between mom explaining to her where this comb and brush is and where the oldest daughter is looking for the comb and brush. So mom says to her again, go into my room, look in the bathroom, look below the cabinet. You're going to open the right door of the center cabinets. Open the right door, pull it open, and look in the black basket, and you will see a comb and a brush sitting in the basket. And I know that it's there. She says, now, if you don't come back with this comb and brush again, I'm going to take care of you, because I know that it's there. You're going to be in some type of trouble because I know that it's there. So the oldest daughter takes off again, and she's gone to look for this comb and brush. This is now her third trip to her mom's bathroom to look for this comb and brush so that they can get their hair done and they can leave to go out for the day. Well, she comes back, guess what? A fourth time. Comes back, she returns from her third trip, if you will, and her head is hung down low. At that point, she's saying, Mama, I just cannot find the comb and brush. So this particular time, on this fourth trip, her mother decides to walk back there with her to the bathroom to find this comb and brush. She says, now, where did I tell you to go? Well, you told me to go into the room and open the cabinets, and I'm going to look in the bottom of the cabinet and look in a basket for the comb and brush. She says, well, not only did I tell you to go in and look in the bathroom, I told you to pull both the right door of the middle, the center cabinets. You're going to open the right side of the cabinets. You're going to look down into the, what color basket did I tell you? Well, you just said the basket. You just said to look in the basket and you'll find the comb and brush. No, Mom is saying to her, no, that's not what I told you. I told you to look in the black basket in my bottom cabinet in my bathroom underneath the cabinets, and you will find it in a black basket. Now, mind you, Mom has a black, red, and a brown basket in her bottom cabinet because she sorted things out. She keeps different things in different baskets. Now, lo and behold, the oldest daughter did not find it after all because she did not really listen to what her mom gave, those specific instructions she's given her. She heard what she said, but she did not clearly either listen to her or she did not understand what her mother said. So the moral to that story is the simple fact that we as C-suite leaders can sometimes do exactly what their eldest daughter has done. Your team member, one of your employees, can have come to you or a customer and explain to you exactly what is making them feel unhappy showing up to work, or what is making them feeling as though they do not want to return back to your company to be served as a customer. However, we tend to, as C-suite leaders, we hear certain things, and certain things, it's almost like we hear what we want to hear, and certain things we don't hear. We don't hear at all. The importance of what we should hear, we typically, at times, we don't hear it. Because this is the reason, one of the reasons why is because we tend to listen with the intent to reply rather than applying what has been said to us. And so I said this before. One of my mentors, Dr. Ruben West, says, we should not only listen for information, but listen for application. So that simply means when you're listening to your team, you're listening to your clients, you're listening not only to understand what it is they're saying, but you're listening so that you can apply what they're saying to your own life and to your own role as the leader in the company. Does that make sense? So we've got to get beyond really listening to hear someone or really hearing them, but really go deeper into listening to what they're saying. So I'm going to give you the third key. I want to give you the third key for grading your communication as a C-suite leader, because this is the thing, right? If you do not catch hold of it really, really soon in terms of effectively listening to your team, you're going to struggle. There's going to be some major, you may not struggle as an individual leader, but your company will suffer. Your company will suffer. So that third key, I've mentioned key number 1 in a prior video and key number 2. So key 1 and 2 I've given in a prior video, and you can replay any of those videos to find out what those 2 keys were. But key number 3, and I'm going to give you key 1 and 2. Key 1, I mentioned to monitor your words wisely. Monitor the words that you're using with your employees or your customers. Key number 2, I've said in a prior video, you need to think. As a C-suite leader, you want to think before you speak. That was key number 2. And tonight, today, or this morning, wherever you are in the world, key number 3, jot it down. And I want you to really put an asterisk by this as well, because all of the keys are very vital. And I know that they are because I'm seeing it. I'm hearing about it when I show up for my clients, when I show up in these various corporations and these businesses and these nonprofit organizations. When I have those hard conversations with their team, one of the things that they're saying is the mere fact that as C-suite leaders, as the leader in that company, we're not really listening and taking heed to what they're saying to us. So key number 3, it's really important to exercise effective listening skills. Exercise effective listening skills. And if you're out there and you want to just jump in, I'm going to, again, introduce myself for those of you that have never known who I am in the world. I want to introduce myself to you because I'm showing up to grab your attention. I'm showing up because I know that there are many C-suite leaders out there that are running multi-million-dollar companies, but they're missing a core piece, a core piece in maintaining and sustaining that organization. And that has to do with effective communication. So I'm Dr. Nikisha Doctor, your communication catalyst, and I show C-suite leaders how to shift their communication to the next level in their organizations. And because I know that it's important, that's the ultimate reason why I make it a point. I'm making it a point. Even in this is not my comfort zone, if you will, but I'm doing it because I know that it's necessary. I'm doing it because I want to meet those across social media that I want you to hear the message. I want you to grab hold to the tools and the strategies that are given and provided because I want your company to prosper. I want your company to grow. And I see that there's some jumping on. I want to thank my great colleague, Miss Felicia, for jumping on and showing some support. It means a whole lot that you're here. And if you will just share it out with those that you know, it's really, really important that we grab this. And as I said to you in the story moments ago, that oldest daughter, had she only just listened to her mom and listened clearly to what she told her to do and where to go and find the comb and brush, she could have found that, if not the first trip to the restroom, she could have found it to the second time she went to her mother's restroom or bathroom and looked below the cabinet in the black basket as her mom told her. She would have found the comb and brush. But so many times our team, they're speaking directly to us and we're not even paying attention. We hear what we want to hear. It's almost like when they say you chew up the meat and you spit out the bones. Well, we do that a lot. We hear whatever it is. We have it's called selective hearing. And I tell you, it's really important that you make a conscious decision to start hearing. Don't just operate by having selective hearing. You want to make a decision to select, to hear what they're saying. Not only hear what they're saying, listening to what they're saying, because it can really, really save the company. So key number 3, you're going to exercise effective listening skills. And if you think about it this way, have you ever thought to yourself, why in the world did God create us with one of these and 2 of these? Let me say it again. 1 of these, 1 mouth, and 2 ears. One of my favorite phrases says, in my favorite book, if you will, it says, be slow to speak and quick to listen. So you're listening quickly with both of your ears, but you're speaking slowly with this 1 mouth, which is what I call a hole in our face. You're listening with this 1. You only have 1 mouth. And we're constantly trying to get so much out of it. It's almost like running water, or I often refer to it as diarrhea of the mouth. We have so much to say, but we have very little time to listen carefully to our team. And that's critical. That's so critical in a company because listening really, really allows us to tune in. It enables us as leaders to connect with those that we serve. If you're not listening to anything that they're saying, or you're picking out that which you choose to listen to, do you know how many problems you're asking for in your organization? Are you really sure about what you're preparing yourself for when we choose not to listen? And maybe, and this is real talk. I'm gonna put it to you this way. Maybe it's not that you're intentionally not listening to them. I just don't believe it. Maybe there are no C-suite leaders out there that just turn off their employees or their customers. It's not that you're not intentionally doing it. I know that's not you. That's not you over there. It's really not you. But what you're doing is you're not slowing down enough to listen effectively. Did you catch the difference? You may not necessarily be intentionally ignoring what's being said to you from your team. But let me tell you this. You're still ignoring them when you don't slow down enough to listen, or if you have employees that have come to your office or sent you emails or have maybe called your phone line, your office line, or even gotten so desperate to wanting to speak with you by calling your company cell phone, and you're still not responsive. You're not even listening to your voicemails possibly, or you're not responding to the email. So that's a sign of not listening, or you're not responsive. You're not present in the moment to what it is they need. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. And I really, again, as a communication expert, it's really valuable. It really does something to our team. It makes them feel validated. We validate them when we're listening to them effectively. So key number 3, the third key to grading your communication, you've got to listen. You've got to exercise effective listening skills. It's necessary. It's completely necessary. About 85% of our success in life is directly attributed to our communication skills. And please understand, as a C-suite leader, that communication is not simply verbally communicating. It's nonverbal. It's also in our body gestures, our body language. It's also listening skills. Effective listening skills are also a part of communication. They work hand in hand. So let me give you two of the roles of communication that I love so dearly. And those 2 roles are the encoding and decoding, if you will. So right now, I'm the encoder. And I'm the encoder because I'm speaking to you. I'm sharing with you. I'm delivering a message and a story to you. So the encoder is the one that is speaking at the time. The decoder, in turn, is listening to everything. You're the decoder. You're taking in everything that I'm saying. You're listening to what I'm saying. And that's the person that is trying to process. You're making sense. You're comprehending what I am saying as the encoder. You're the decoder. You're decoding as the decoder, and I'm encoding as the encoder. And so both of those roles are really important and key, because guess what? At some point, you're going to be the encoder, and at some point in the conversation or dialogue, you're going to be the decoder. But you cannot be both at the same time. It's simply impossible. It's simply impossible. We can sing together, but we cannot speak together. And it's just not haphazard that we were given 2 ears and 1 mouth. That means sometimes we've just got to hush this long enough so that we can hear more. Hush this just a little longer. Discipline ourselves to close this a little bit longer than what we were trying to or planning to be quiet, and listen in on whatever it is that your clients or your team of employees are trying to share with you. Now, I'm going to give you this story. I want to share this with you. I was in Sam's Club one particular day. And there was a young man who the mom, the grandmother, and this young man were behind me at the checkout line. They would be directly behind me. And I could hear mom, not only hear her, I was really listening. Initially, I was just hearing. But as the conversation continued, as she was having with her son, I began to listen more. I was in tune with what she was saying. And this is what she said to the young man. She said, so you're just going to stand there while I take all of these groceries out of the basket? You're just going to stand there? So the young man heard her, but he really wasn't listening to her per se. And I say that because he never touched anything. See, when you're listening effectively, you take action. When you're listening to someone, you're proactive, you're doing something, you're applying what you're hearing, what you're listening to. When you're hearing, it's almost like it's just for the moment. You're hearing it, but you're not hearing it. You're hearing it, but you're not listening, if you will. So as I'm still listening to her, at some point I'm watching, I turn my head and I see this young man standing there. He's looking off. He's not even paying her any attention. So most shortly thereafter, a few minutes after mom stopped speaking, I turned to the young man and I said, son, I said, young man, excuse me. I said, young man, I don't know you and you don't know me. I said, but I just heard your mom. I listened to your mom say to you about helping her with the groceries, getting the groceries out of the basket. And I said, let me ask you this question. If she decides today and she tells you after you've left the store, she says to you and makes that decision, okay, I've bought all of this food. You figure out the best way you can how you're going to eat and how you're going to prepare your food and eat. What if she told you that? Do you know that that young man was making eye contact with me right away? He was listening to me. How do I know he was listening? Because he made eye contact with me. How do I know he was listening? Because I had his full attention. When he was hearing his mom, he was looking all off as though she was not even speaking directly to him. He made eye contact with me. He let me know that he was engaged in what I was saying to him. He validated what I said because of what he was doing. His body gestures indicated to me that he was listening to me. Do you know, shortly after I said that to that young man and I gave him that question, what if mom decides today that she's bought all of this food and you can now figure out how you're going to eat it the best way you can? I said, what if your mom did that? Do you know, not even 2 minutes, not even a minute later, that young man started taking those things out of the basket and putting it on the counter, the rolling counter for it to be checked out, to be purchased and checked out? I didn't know the young man. And the point that I'm making to you is you will meet the moral to what I'm saying is just what I stated about key number 3. We've got to turn on our effective listening skills. You've got to turn it on. That young man was in tune with what I said. He heard his mom, but he listened to me. And I had no idea who this young man was. I didn't know the family. But I tuned into what she was saying to them, and it resonated with me. And as an educator, that's my background. I felt the need to just say, encourage him, empower him by saying something. And that's what happened. And so he literally took those things out of the basket and began to help his mom unload the basket. Before I realized it, he was done unpacking that basket. So as effective leaders in our companies, as C-suite leaders, you've got to tune in. You got to turn on your listening skills. You turn on, put your antennas up, pay attention to the very small details and listen to your team. Listen to your customers. You may meet a customer for the very first time, and they may never be a returning client or customer because you missed the very thing that they were hoping you were listening to when they introduced themselves or when you met them for the first time. It may have been something that you did that turned them off because you weren't listening. Save yourself some money. Save yourself the time of having to continue to hire new customers or hire new employees. Save yourself the time to not always have to where you won't even find yourself having to beg for clients or customers, just by simply listening effectively to those that are speaking, that you're serving, listening to them. Listening, tuning in to what they're saying. Again, I'm Dr. Nikisha Doctor, your communication expert. And I just wanted to show up to give you the third key. The third key is you've got to effectively listen as a C-suite leader. Exercise effective listening. That's key number 3. So I challenge you, wherever you are in the world, share this video out. And if you have any questions after the video, at any point something comes to mind and resonates with your thoughts, feel free to reach out. Feel free to reach out to me directly. You can find me on any social media platform as Dr. Nikisha Doctor. That's DrNekesha SHIADR. So that's on Instagram, Twitter, as well as Facebook. And you can also, if you would love to have a conversation with me personally, you would simply text the word discover. That's DISCOVER to the number 904-474-3088. Again, that's discover, DISCOVER to the number 904-474-3088. It has certainly been my pleasure to serve you. And C-suite leaders, I'm coming for you again very soon. Have an amazing and blessed afternoon, morning, or evening.